Hello, I'm Maura Carley, founder and president of Healthcare Navigation, and we did a video on how Medicare's hospital benefit works, so wanted to do one on how Medicare's skilled nursing facility benefit works. And that benefit is relevant when you have had an inpatient stay, and historically it's been a stay of 3 days in the hospital or more that allows for Medicare to cover in a skilled nursing facility. That was apparently waived during the pandemic era, so is ending. And it used to be much more controversial because of this status of people being on observation and not understanding it. But I don't want to digress into that because there's been great improvement in that area. So I just want to focus on the skilled nursing stay, which again would be relevant after a hospital stay, but when you are still able to benefit from therapies like physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, and are recovering from whatever issue it is that brought you to the hospital in the first place. Now you have up to 100 days of inpatient skilled nursing facility coverage in a benefit period. Remember, benefit periods work the same way that they did for Medicare hospital days. You have 100, and that doesn't mean that you get to use 100. You have to be meeting Medicare criteria. You might recover very quickly and be able to be discharged home with home services in just a matter of a week or 2 or 3 weeks. But then there are conditions that require you to remain in a skilled nursing facility. And for the first 20 days, Medicare covers completely. After that, this year, there's a $200 daily copayment. If you have original Medicare, you likely have a supplement, and the richer supplements, meaning the ones that cover more than those with lesser benefits, might cover that entire copayment amount. Another tough issue is when you're dealing with a very elderly, it's usually a relative, who is either physically unable or mentally unwilling to participate in physical therapy, speech therapy, or occupational therapy and be recovering to a sufficient degree for Medicare to continue to cover. And that's a tough situation. I mean, when Medicare no longer covers you in a skilled nursing facility, if you remain there, you are either private pay, or perhaps you have long-term care coverage for that purpose, or one might end up spending down to qualify for Medicaid. Even people with retiree medical that has skilled nursing facility can be confused by the value of that benefit because you often still have to be meeting Medicare criteria. I mean, what some people look at is they see the 100 days of the skilled nursing facility coverage for Medicare, and then they see whatever's in their retiree, and they think they have the 100 days plus the retiree. And you've got to be very careful when you go there. Many of these plans will require that the retiree coverage be used to cover the copayment, which begins after the 21st day. Benefit periods. So the skilled nursing facility coverage works in the same way the hospital coverage works. you have 100 days in a benefit period, or let's say up to 100 days. And once you use them, you're discharged, you've reduced your benefit. So let's say you stayed in the nursing home and Medicare covered for 50 days, your skilled nursing benefit would be reduced to 50 days, 100 minus 50. But once you are so-called facility free, you're not using your inpatient benefit for 60 days, then you would be back up to your full complement of 100 skilled nursing facility days. I know that's a lot and hardly a sitting on the edge of your seat kind of matter, but it's very important when you're dealing with family members who are in these situations to understand exactly what Medicare will cover and how it works. So thank you for hanging in there, and have a good day. Take care.